Hello, lady and gentlemen. Every morning, before the world wakes up, there's a small window. A few minutes that decide the tone of your entire day. Most people waste it. Winners use it. Because success doesn't start with money, contacts, or luck. It starts with the words you say to yourself when no one is watching. Every single morning, when you open your eyes, life gives you two doors. One labeled comfort, the other growth. The first one is easy. It's warm, safe, and filled with excuses. The second one is cold, uncertain, and uncomfortable, but it's the only one that leads to success. Most people, without realizing it, walk through the door of comfort every day. They hit the snooze button. They scroll their phone for just 5 minutes. They tell themselves, I'll start tomorrow. But tomorrow is a lie the mind tells you when fear controls your life. The people who win in business, in life, in everything, are the ones who speak one powerful truth to themselves every morning. I am stronger than my excuses. Excuses are easy because they sound reasonable. They protect you from short-term pain, but they destroy your long-term growth. The mind is clever. It knows exactly what to say to make you feel justified in quitting. You're tired. You're not ready. You're not like them. You don't have the time. These are not facts. They are fears in disguise. The day you start answering your fears with discipline, your life begins to change. Because discipline is the strongest muscle you will ever build. You can lose money, you can lose people, but if you never lose discipline, you will win everything back and more. Let me tell you something. Your excuses are never about your circumstances. They are about your standards. Everyone faces obstacles. Everyone is busy. Everyone is tired. But only a few people still push through. Why? Because they've made a promise to themselves to never let their emotions decide their effort. That's the secret. Winners feel tired too, but they still get up. They feel afraid too, but they still act. They fail too, but they never stop. The difference is not in talent, it's in decision. Every morning when they wake up, they don't wait for motivation. They tell themselves, I don't need to feel ready. I just need to show up. Think about it. How many dreams have died because of simple excuses? How many goals have been buried under the words, someday, maybe later, or when I have time? The truth is, there will never be a perfect time. The stars will never align. You will never feel 100% ready. Success belongs to the person who starts even when they're scared, even when they're unsure, even when the world says, wait. Because waiting is a trap, and excuses are its guards. When you start telling yourself, I am stronger than my excuses, you reprogram your mind. You stop being a prisoner of your comfort zone and become the commander of your destiny. You start realizing that your potential is not something you find, it's something you build, one choice at a time. The alarm rings and you wake up, not because it's easy, but because you promised yourself you would. The task feels heavy, but you still do it because you know excuses don't pay bills, they don't build empires, and they don't change lives. Effort does, consistency does, belief does. And here's the truth, you don't need to be perfect. You just need to be committed. You don't have to take giant steps every day. Even small steps count if you're moving forward. The problem is, people want instant success, but give up instantly when it doesn't come. They want to feel motivated before they act, not realizing that action creates motivation. Once you start, once you move, once you commit, energy follows. But when you sit back, waiting for the perfect feeling, you train your brain to choose weakness over willpower. So the next time you hear that inner voice saying, not today, smile and answer back. Maybe not today, but I'm doing it anyway. That's strength. That's how confidence is built. Every time you defeat an excuse, you build invisible armor around your character. You become unstoppable, unshakable, and untouchable, not because life got easier, but because you got stronger. Remember, the world will always give you reasons to quit, but you only need one reason to keep going. You. Your dreams, your family, your future. They deserve the best version of you, not the one that hides behind excuses. Every day you say, I can't, your goal moves one step away. But every day you say, I will, your dream moves closer. That's the magic of mindset. So tomorrow morning, before you pick up your phone, before you speak to anyone else, look in the mirror and say these words with conviction. I am stronger than my excuses. Say it until your heart believes it. Say it until your actions prove it. Because one day, when you look back, you'll realize that single sentence changed everything. Every successful person you've ever heard of has one thing in common. They never stop learning. While the world is busy talking, they're busy listening. While others are scrolling, they're studying. Because they know something most people forget. The moment you stop learning, you stop growing. The world doesn't wait for anyone. Technology changes, markets shift, opportunities evolve. And if you don't keep learning, you get left behind. But when you say to yourself every morning, "Today, I will learn something new," you choose to stay ahead of time. You choose to become a student of life. Learning isn't limited to classrooms or certificates. True learning is an attitude, a hunger to know more, understand more, and do more. It's not about being the smartest person in the room. It's about being the most curious. Every morning, when you say this line, you remind your mind to stay open. Open to ideas, open to mistakes, open to growth. Because life rewards those who are curious, not those who think they already know everything. Let's be honest. Many people stop learning the moment they leave school. They believe they're done. But the truth is, that's exactly when real education begins. The world outside doesn't test you with exams. It tests you with failure, rejection, and change. And the only way to pass those tests is through continuous learning. You can't build a strong future with outdated knowledge. You can't create success with yesterday's mindset. The world is evolving every second. So should you. Every time you learn something new, you upgrade yourself. You become more valuable, not just to others, but to yourself. Knowledge gives you confidence. When you understand more, you fear less. Learning teaches you patience, humility, and resilience. It sharpens your vision and expands your possibilities. Think about it. Every skill you learn becomes a tool in your toolbox. The more tools you have, the more problems you can solve. And the more problems you can solve, the more valuable you become in life. But here's the thing, learning isn't always comfortable. Sometimes it makes you realize how little you know. Sometimes it challenges your beliefs and forces you to change. That's why most people stop. Because growth often begins where comfort ends. But if you truly want to win, you must learn to love that discomfort. Every book you read, every podcast you listen to, every mistake you analyze, it's all sharpening your mind like a blade. Remember this, you don't have to learn everything in one day. You just have to learn something every day. Even one new idea, one new word, one new insight can change the direction of your life. Because success doesn't come from sudden transformation. It comes from small daily improvements. A little progress each day becomes massive over time. That's the compounding power of learning. And don't limit your learning to what's comfortable. Read things that challenge your thinking. Listen to people who disagree with you. Study the failures of those who came before you. Wisdom doesn't only come from success, it comes from observing everything around you. Nature, people, business, pain, and silence. The best learners are not just readers, they're observers. You see, when you wake up and say, "Today, I will learn something new," you're not just talking about gaining knowledge. You're declaring that you're willing to evolve. You're telling the universe, "I'm ready to be better than I was yesterday." And that attitude, that hunger, separates ordinary from extraordinary. Because the truth is, the smartest people aren't those who know the most. They're the ones who are most eager to keep learning. So if you want your future to grow, let your mind grow first. If you want to earn more, learn more. If you want to lead, read. Every lesson you learn builds the foundation for the success you dream of. Never underestimate the power of daily learning. One page today can become a book tomorrow. One idea today can become a company tomorrow. Every successful person you admire once started with curiosity, a question, a spark, a "how does this work?" attitude. That small spark of learning turned into a fire that lit their destiny. And you can do the same. Every morning, remind yourself that your brain is your biggest asset. And every new thing you learn is an investment in your future. So tomorrow morning, before your day begins, take a deep breath and say it aloud. "Today, I will learn something new." Let that sentence guide your actions. Watch a 10-minute video that teaches you something useful. Read a page from a powerful book. Ask questions. Listen more. Because every small effort to learn is a seed for a better tomorrow. Never forget, the one who learns daily leads daily, and the one who keeps learning never stops growing. Every morning, millions of people open their phones and scroll through other people's lives. Their vacations, their cars, their success, their happiness. And they quietly whisper to themselves, "I'm behind. But here's the truth. Most people don't realize you're not behind. You're on your own timeline. Comparison is the thief of peace, and the fastest way to kill your joy is to measure your life with someone else's ruler. The moment you say, "I will not compare my journey with anyone," you take back control of your happiness and focus on the only person who truly matters, you. We live in a world that celebrates results but ignores the process. You see someone's success, but not their sleepless nights. You see their rewards, but not their rejections. You see their smile, but not their sacrifices. And yet, you compare your reality with their highlight reel. That's not fair to yourself. Every person is fighting a battle you don't see, walking a path you don't understand. Your story is different. Your timing is different. Your blessings are different. And that's what makes your journey beautiful. The truth is, comparison doesn't push you forward. It pulls you down. It makes you forget how far you've come. You start chasing shadows instead of dreams. You stop appreciating what you have and start believing you're not enough. But success isn't about being better than others. It's about being better than yesterday's you. That's the only race that matters. Because if you win against yourself daily, if you're more focused, more disciplined, more grateful than you were before, then you're already successful. Think about it. No two flowers bloom at the same time, but they all bloom beautifully when it's their season. The same is true for humans. You may be early, you may be late, but you are always on time for your life. The world may make you feel like you need to rush, but speed doesn't equal success. A fast life without peace is still failure. Remember this, your path is not supposed to look like anyone else's because your purpose is not the same as theirs. When you compare, you lose focus. You stop listening to your own calling and start chasing noise. You make choices not because they feel right, but because they look right on social media. And that's dangerous, because it makes you live someone else's dream instead of building your own. Don't let the world's timeline decide your destiny. Some people find success at 20 and lose it at 30. Some struggle till 40 and rise forever after. Life is not a race, it's a journey of becoming. Start each morning by appreciating where you are. You may not be where you want to be yet, but you're also not where you used to be. That's progress. You've grown, you've learned, you've survived, and that's something to celebrate. When you focus on gratitude, comparison loses power. Gratitude turns what you have into enough, and what you dream of into motivation, not jealousy. Another truth, the more you compare, the more you disconnect from your purpose. Your mind becomes crowded with thoughts of others, their progress, their possessions, their praise, and you forget the mission that started your own journey. But when you stay in your lane, when you trust your timing, when you focus on your craft, your growth becomes unstoppable. Because energy flows where attention goes. Focus on your growth and you'll grow. Focus on others and you'll only grow tired. Never forget, the world needs your story, not your imitation. You have gifts that no one else has. You have experiences that no one else can live. Your struggles are shaping strength that someone else may need someday. That's why your journey is sacred. Don't waste it comparing, doubting, or hating yourself for not being there yet. You'll get there, not in their time, but in yours. So tomorrow morning, when you look at yourself in the mirror, remind yourself, I will not compare my journey with anyone. Say it with confidence. Say it with peace. Say it until your heart believes it. Because you are not in competition with anyone. You are in alignment with your destiny. Keep moving, one step at a time. Keep building, one day at a time. Keep believing, even when it's slow. Because the truth is, slow progress is still progress. And as long as you're becoming a better you, you're already winning. Every time you fail, you have two choices. You can either let it break you, or you can let it build you. Most people choose the first. They see failure as the end of the story, a sign that they're not good enough, not lucky enough, or not talented enough. But the truth is, failure is never the end. It's just the chapter that teaches you how to write the rest of your story better. The greatest people in history didn't rise because they never failed. They rose because they never stopped learning from failure. When you say to yourself every morning, failure is my greatest teacher, you shift your mindset from fear to power. You stop running from mistakes and start studying them. You begin to see rejection as redirection and loss as the language of lessons. Because every failure hides a seed of wisdom, a message only the brave are willing to read. The difference between winners and losers is not the number of times they fail. but the number of times they stand back up, wiser than before. Think about it. A child learning to walk falls dozens of times, yet never thinks, maybe walking isn't for me. But as adults, one mistake makes us doubt our entire potential. We forget that failure is not a sign of weakness, it's a sign of effort. It means you tried something others were too afraid to try. It means you had the courage to risk comfort for growth. The only real failure in life is not trying at all. Every failure has something to teach if you have the humility to listen. When you fail, don't just feel the pain. Study it. Ask yourself, what went wrong? What did I ignore? What can I do better next time? Failure gives you feedback no success ever could. Success makes you comfortable. Failure makes you conscious. Success fills your ego. Failure fills your experience. And experience is the currency of greatness. But here's the problem. Most people run from failure because they attach their self-worth to their results. They believe that if they fail, they are a failure. That's wrong. Failure is something that happens to you, not something that defines you. The key is separation. Learn to separate your identity from your outcome. You failed at something, yes, but that doesn't mean you are a failure. You're simply in training for your next version. Failure also teaches patience. It humbles you, slows you down, and forces you to rebuild your foundation. It removes arrogance and replaces it with awareness. Sometimes, the reason success takes time is because life wants you to be ready for it. And failure is the classroom where readiness is built. Every great story has that dark middle chapter, the part where everything seems lost. But that's exactly where character is created. When you look at people who have achieved extraordinary success, you'll see that their resumes are written in failure. Behind every breakthrough is a long list of breakdowns. Behind every confident smile is a past filled with rejection letters, lost deals, missed chances, and lonely nights. What separates them from the rest isn't luck. It's persistence through pain. They understood that failure is not the opposite of success. It's part of the process. Here's a truth most won't tell you. If you're not failing, you're not growing. If everything in your life feels comfortable, you're playing too small. Because growth demands mistakes. It demands embarrassment, discomfort, and setbacks. But when you embrace failure as your teacher, you stop fearing those moments. You start welcoming them. Every mistake becomes a lesson. Every rejection becomes protection. Every fall becomes a step forward. So the next time you fail, don't cry over the ashes. Build again with the fire that burned you. Because that fire can either destroy you or refine you. The choice is yours. Remember, diamonds are formed under pressure. Trees grow stronger after storms. And human beings rise highest after they've been knocked down the hardest. Tomorrow morning, when you wake up, tell yourself, failure is my greatest teacher. Say it proudly. Because you've earned every scar, every lesson, every second of pain that brought you here. Those failures didn't destroy you. They shaped you. They gave you wisdom that no book could teach, strength that no shortcut could build, and perspective that no victory could replace. You are not broken because you failed. You are built because you learned. And when you finally succeed, not if, but when, it will mean more, because you'll know exactly what it took to get there. So keep failing forward, keep learning, keep evolving. Because every failure you face today is preparing the hero you'll become tomorrow. Every morning gives you a choice. To live like every other day, or to rise like it's the first day of the rest of your life. And the words you speak to yourself in those quiet moments define everything that follows. 5 lines. That's all it takes. 5 simple promises that can reshape your future if you truly live by them. When you say, I am stronger than my excuses, you break the chains of comfort that have held you back for years. You stop waiting for the right time and start creating it. Because strength doesn't come from muscles, it comes from mindset. When you remind yourself, today I will learn something new, you feed your mind with growth instead of doubt. You realize that every piece of knowledge, every small lesson, every humble step forward builds the foundation for greatness. When you whisper, I will not compare my journey with anyone, you find peace within yourself. You stop chasing someone else's timeline and begin to enjoy your own progress. Step by step, day by day. Because success is not about speed, it's about direction. When you declare, failure is my greatest teacher, you turn pain into power. You stop fearing mistakes and start collecting lessons. You realize that every scar is proof that you were brave enough to try and wise enough to learn. And when you finally say, no matter what happens, I will never give up, You ignite the fire that can outlast any storm. You turn obstacles into stepping stones and setbacks into comebacks. You become unstoppable, not because life got easier, but because you got stronger. These 5 lines are not just words. They are a mindset, a personal code, a daily ritual that rewires your brain to think like a winner and act like a leader. Say them when you're happy. Say them when you're broken. Say them when no one believes in you. Because the power of these lines doesn't lie in speaking them. It lies in living them. Every great story starts with a decision. The decision to never let circumstances control you, to never let fear silence you, and to never let failure define you. You are the author of your life, and every morning gives you a blank page. The question is, what will you write today? Look at yourself in the mirror tomorrow and remind that person staring back. You've survived everything that tried to break you. You've come too far to stop now. So, rise every morning with purpose. Speak these 5 lines with passion. Live them with pride. Because one day when you look back, you'll realize it wasn't luck. It wasn't magic. It wasn't destiny. It was you. You, the one who refused to quit. You, the one who kept learning. You, the one who believed when no one else did. And that, right there, is the secret to every success story the world has ever known.